This is Pastor Andrew Grosjean from Canaan Baptist Church in Taylor, Michigan, and I'd like to ask you the question, can music be evil? This is a question that really in our generation has become less and less asked. And because it isn't asked anymore, people don't even consider the possibility. But I believe that the Bible gives us the indication that it is an important subject and an important question. And just as we see that there are evil, just like there's evil in the world and there's good in the world, I believe that we will see that there is evil music as well as good music. The key verse for this discussion is in 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse number 23. And it says here, "And it came to pass, when the evil spirit from God was upon Saul, that David took an harp and played with his hand. So Saul was refreshed and was well, and the evil spirit departed from him." Now we see some very interesting things in this verse. Number one, we see that music was used as a spiritual tool, a weapon of spiritual warfare against Satan's causes in Saul's life. And we see clearly here that God is telling us that the operative weapon was the music that David was playing on his harp. Now, if we can believe that this music, because it fought against Satan, was good music, then the opposite side of the question must be answered. If there is good music that fights Satan, then there must be evil music that helps Satan. And we see that this fact is clearly demonstrated in our world around us. The people who use wicked devices, drugs, alcohol, rebellion, immorality, all of these activities we see very regularly combined with a certain type of music. Now there are all kinds of musical styles in the world's repertoire, but the fact is that there are a lot of common denominators among the type of music that the world uses when it is involved with its wicked activities. For instance, I've never heard of people when they want to take drugs and watch pornography, listen to Amazing Grace. That kind of music is opposite the purpose and function of those immoral activities. Now, I'm not going to blame rock music, and there's many other types of music as well that we could call worldly, but I'm not going to blame the music for the actions of those who are using it. But I will say that those people who use rock music, rap music, and pop music, and all these different types of, all the different varieties of worldly music, the reason they use that is because they feel that it is consistent with their spirit. They wouldn't use church hymns the way they use their music. And so we see that since the Bible tells us that there is music that does fight Satan, then we know that there is also music that helps Satan. And we see this demonstrated in the fact that Satan, when he was made, God created musical instruments as part of his being. Look at what it says in Ezekiel 28:13. "Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared. See, musical instruments, both rhythm and melody and harmony, were part of Satan's creation. And so is it any wonder that Satan would use music to do his will and work his wickedness in people? It's no question in my mind. And I really don't think there's any question in your mind either. Then finally we see that in Daniel chapter 3 verse number 7, we see just one example. We could take many others of where the Bible records wicked music being used during wicked activities. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, the flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar, the king, had set up. Now, this very cursory study of these three passages demonstrates one indisputable fact, that there is music that fights Satan, and since there is music that fights Satan, it stands to reason that there is kind of music that doesn't fight Satan. And if there is a music that does not fight Satan's goals, then there's probably also a music that works toward Satan's goals. If music was not good or bad, we wouldn't see it fighting the demon that Saul was dealing with. And if music was not good or bad, I don't think we'd see Satan investing so much time into certain styles of music. Now let me just say, I've mentioned rock music, I've mentioned rap music, but there's many types of music that are broken from God's standard for different reasons, and we could go into all different types of styles of music. God tells us the standard of spiritual godly music is that it is predominantly based in the melody. That's why it says, speaking to yourselves in psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs, singing and making melody in your heart. Friend, Christian, saint of God, you need to make sure that your music is music that is predominantly melodious. And if it isn't, chances are the music like we hear in this world, chances are you're not using music that fights Satan's causes. But I would suggest, on the contrary, it helps him. Thank you.